What is up, everyone? Coach Lucas here. Today, I want to talk about how to play in a lower level environment. So, this is really common for players that either are playing at the academy level or playing at the club level. And then, for example, they have to go and play high school, which might be a lower level environment. Okay. And this could be other examples too, where maybe you got put on a lower level team and you have to play with a lower level team for a season or something of that nature. And the style of play is quite different. If you're going from club soccer to, for example, to high school soccer, a lot of times it's a completely different style of play. Some high school programs are really great. I'm not saying all of them, but a lot of high school programs aren't quite as good as club or the academy level. So if you find yourself in a situation like this, you might feel like you're getting worse. Like a lot of players will go and play in a lower level environment like, dang, I'm playing worse. You have to understand that in these high level environments, you know, it's almost like in these high level environments, whether it's club or academy, when you're playing the game and you're passing the ball, everyone is two steps ahead of the play, right? And so there's this chemistry where people are reading each other, they know where they're going to be, they're two steps ahead, and it's kind of like playing chess instead of checkers. It's a little bit more complex, there's a little bit more flow to it, there's a little bit more rhythm to it, whereas a lower level environment, it there's not that flow, there's not that chemistry, there's not that connection, and it's a game that's a little bit more direct, right? So you're not reading people quite as well, people aren't moving off the ball quite as well, and so this is a very different style of play. So the question is, how do you handle yourself in these situations? Well, you have to make the most of these situations. You have to make the most of these situations. And so the first thing you need to understand is accept the fact that this is a completely different game. This is a completely different game. So you have to think differently on how you're going to win this type of game. So start to think about the nature of these games, right? Start to think about what's different about these games versus what you're used to. So you can get a better understanding of the true game that you're actually playing. It's almost like a game that has different rules, right? So that's important, is really understanding the nature of this new style that you're playing. In addition to that, I encourage you to use what I call games within games. And what this is a way for you to challenge yourself in these lower level environments. And so now this opens up opportunities for you to do things in these environments that you wouldn't normally do at the club level or at the academy level. So, for example, maybe you dribble more in the final third. You're dribbling two, three, maybe four people in the final third in this environment, whereas in the other environments, you would need to pass across the ball, right? You should allow yourself to have the freedom to be a little bit more bolder, take more risks, do things that are a little bit different and more risky in this type of environment. So dribbling more, shooting from distance, these types of things where you're focusing on executing in a way that you wouldn't normally do in these other environments. So this games within games tool, let's talk about that. You can set yourself up with a challenge. So let's say you want to work on your weak foot. Perhaps in these environments, so that because they don't quite mean as much, right? Sometimes they don't mean as much. Maybe you designate an entire match to focusing on your weak foot. Or maybe you designate an entire match to focusing on shooting the ball 15 times or 10 times in the first half and 10 times in the second half. Like setting up these little mini challenges within the whole game so that you can focus on the things that you need to work on. Now you are bringing your own agenda into the match. You're bringing your own focus and you're goal oriented. You are focused on the challenge, and this is going to challenge you to enhance the areas of your game that you wouldn't normally be able to work on in these other environments. Okay, so with this approach, don't be afraid to take risks. Don't be afraid to be bold. Make sure that you're bold. Have the courage, have the bravery to do things in these environments that you wouldn't normally do. And last but not least, be patient. Be patient because if you're not used to this, it can get quite frustrating. It can get quite frustrating. But be patient with yourself, enjoy it, challenge yourself to work on the things that you want to work on, use the games within games approach, and make the most of this situation to continue your development, continue your progress, and working on the things that you need to work on to achieve your long term goal. So I hope this was valuable. I hope you found value in this lesson. I'll see you guys next time in the next video. Take care.